my body language is always smooth and natural because I'm a yoga teacher. But regardless, moving on to the topic of the day, fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster, inspiration is everywhere, all around us. So in the next 5 to 7 minutes, I will show you not where to find it, nor what it looks like, or any of that sort of thing. Instead, what I want to share with you is how to capture it. In the digital age, as Leslie is proving right now by videotaping this speech on my iPhone, we have more tools available to us more than ever before. So I want to show you from ancient practices to modern applications how you might be able to capture some of this inherent inspiration that's all around us. Indeed, there are myriads of ways to capture inspiration, but I'm going to share with you just 5. If you'd like to take notes, feel free. Otherwise, relax, have a restful pose, and just let the inspiration of my speech wash over you. The first tool I'd like to share is meditation. Meditation. And you might think now of a yogi sitting on a mountaintop, legs crossed in some kind of pretzel pose, oming to himself. And yes, maybe he is finding inspiration in that way. But for all of us seated here in this modern age, as I said, there's another reason to meditate rather than just to find enlightenment, but to ease our minds and release ourselves of the hold that all of the media around us has. So we're bombarded constantly by images here and signs there and flashing lights and new applications and all kinds of things going on. In order to really allow the inspiration that's ours to seep into our mind, we need to actually empty it first. Meditation. Sitting on a mat, sitting on a chair, laying down, sitting on the subway, closing our eyes, letting silence enter, focusing on our breath, and just being. And slowly, something bubbles to the surface and pops, an idea. That's meditation. Second tool is journaling. Many of you have pens and papers in front of you now, and perhaps it's not unusual for you to take pen to paper and scribble away an idea, a thought, before it quickly escapes and pops over to someone else who might then scribble it down in a burst of an idea of inspiration. I tend to journal when I have a problem to solve. I know many people journal every day just to document what happened, and others still might journal in order to appreciate what they've seen that day. And for me, that's what I'm going to be focusing on this fall, a gratitude journal. Because what I find is the more that I focus on these things that I enjoy and that I like, the more of them I tend to find. Kind of funny. Finding things like enjoying the fall colors. They seem brighter the next day somehow. More inspiration in terms of the hue or the vibrancy, something I may not have noticed quite as much before. So maybe you haven't journaled in a while. I suggest have at it. Just a note of thought. It could be on a napkin. Didn't J.K. Rowling start Harry Potter on a napkin at a local diner, something like that? That's the myth. You never know what amazing idea might empty itself from your fingertips through the pen and onto the page. The third tool of the myriad tools available is the photograph. And again, my trusty iPhone is not only my recording device, my cellular mobile information transmitter call center, but also my camera. And every day I'm taking pictures, tons and tons of pictures, because what I like to do after is look back at everything I've taken and reflect on what of everything available I chose to focus on. Because it could be the table, it could be this angle, it could be that angle. What did I choose to see that day? And it inspires me. It inspires me because of everything that's happening. There's one idea, something that spoke to me that day, or many things, that I chose to capture. And this tool enables me to keep them as memories that bring me right back to that moment or that day of what was happening, how I was feeling, what I ate, who was there with me, and it re-inspires me, perhaps in a way that I wouldn't have been able to keep had I not had that photograph. Number 4 is to collage. And what I love about this idea and this tool, it's not just like an application, perhaps like the photograph or the camera, or even journaling, but to collage is to take together many of these elements and put them in a new form. So rather than just rereading what you wrote, perhaps you add a photograph to that journal entry, and it inspires something else, a connection that you hadn't made between what your son or daughter said and the way that the leaves looked. There's something about putting disparate elements together in new combinations that can inspire us. And so there are applications called, one I really love is called Pinterest. And this is a place where I can put together lots of images, usually from the web, that I find. And there are over 1 million users now of this modern tool. And if you need any help finding your own Pinterest page, I'm happy to share. You can also cut things out of magazines and put them together. There's so many ways, and I encourage you to get creative, and you might never know what you find. So the last tool, the last of the 5, remember we had meditation, to journal, to use your photographs, to collage them together. The last, and perhaps the most important, is to share what you've done, to share what you found. Because sure, you can find the inspiration for yourself, but what does it mean to channel that inspiration and give it away to others? Because perhaps, just as I'm giving this speech of my own inspiration I found in the speech topic, perhaps there's something you'll find and take away that'll inspire you in your projects for the future. And I can't wait to see what you come up with.